Welcome to the 10-Minute Treasurer. My name is Jeff Pospisil. This summer, my wife and we've been working on our estate plan, and one of the things we had to think about is the different scenarios that might hit us, and just what we wanted to happen in those, especially those most common scenarios, how we'd want to address that in our estate plan. So hopefully this helps you think through that as well. So I want to give you a warning that when you go to set up your will and your estate plan, that's not a once in a lifetime event, at least not usually. Um, there's going to be times when you want to revisit it. So first of all, whenever there's a life-changing event, you're going to want to revisit it. So what do I mean by a life-changing event? You know, you add a kid or you lose a kid, you get a divorce or you get married, you start a business, you buy or sell a major asset. Those are life-changing events. Another thing is you just might want to get into the habit of looking at it every now and then, like every 4 to 5 years. Um, just because things will happen, things will change, your priorities will change, your circumstances will change, and sometimes it's just gradual. So it's good to take another look at it. Maybe you won't have to update it, but chances are you will want to. So these are the scenarios that I had to think through, and most people will be able to relate to this. I know there will be some that, if you've never had kids or if you've never been married, your scenarios will look different. So you'll have to think through those separately, but this is at least what I had to go through. So what happens when I die? That was my first concern. Or what would happen if my spouse dies? Um, that's the first scenario. The second scenario is what happens if both me and my spouse die and the kids are left without parents? So that was the next one. And then the last one is what happens if the whole family dies? You know, we're all in some kind of a tragic accident and we all pass away. So what happens then? So in that first scenario, if I die, I want all my assets to go to my spouse, and vice versa too. If she dies, she wants all her assets to go to me. One exception to that be, let's just say, for example, I had a child with another person. I might want to recognize that child also. If I die, some portion of the assets might go towards that child, and then the rest of it would go to my spouse. So that's just something to think through. The second scenario is if my wife and I both die. So we have three kids. They're young. They're under the age of 18. So we want them to receive the bulk of our estate, but not directly. We want their part to go into a trust that they benefit from until they get to the age of 30, and then the trust can be just turned over to them. So that's how we have that set up for now. Again, as they get older, we're going to probably revisit this and how much do they really need to benefit from our estate or not. That'll be the question going forward, and that's why you need to revisit it every now and then. The other thing we have set up is in my life insurance, I have the church listed to get 10%. So that was one way to say, okay, one last tithe to the church. So when we pass away, 10% of the life insurance goes to the church and the other 90% goes to the kids' trust. Then there's that last scenario. So if my wife and I pass away and all the kids pass away, what are the things we want our estate to go through if there's no family members? And this is also what's going to happen too as the kids get older, and maybe we'd want them to have a lesser and lesser portion of the estate. So what we ended up doing is my wife and I we made a list of the top charities we'd want to support when we pass, and then we compared our lists and where there was overlap, those are the ones we decided we'd want to give the most towards. So for us, Mitchell Christian is a huge part of our life right now, and there's a huge need there. So we'd want to have 40% of our estate go into an endowment to benefit Mitchell Christian. And by the way, just an aside, we set up all of our endowments to go through the Dakotas United Methodist Foundation just because I really like their philosophy and I really trust them. So to follow through with my wishes. The next level, and I want to say these ones get, oh, I think they get 20%, if I recall correctly. So the University of Jamestown and our church, Mitchell Wesleyan, they get the next biggest one. So they each get 20%. I think we have an endowment set up for the University of Jamestown, but just a direct gift for the church. And then the last one is we have Park River Bible Camp and the Open Medicine Foundation. So Uh, Again, that's what we ended up coming from, and we'll revisit this every now and then, and these may change over the years. But anyway, so if we were to die today, that's how it'll be distributed. I hope this has helped you. I mean, if you're going to have these conversations yourself, or maybe you're going to have them with a church member to help them think through their estate planning process, just listening to how I went through the process, maybe it'll help you walk somebody else through it, or maybe help you walk through it personally. Uh, Again, you can find all of our stuff online at dakotasumc.org. And again, if this was helpful to you, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff is really good. God bless you.